All right, so it's been quite a while since I talked about the startup. Last time we spoke, I think was on April 29th is when I released the last video about the startup. And so the last thing that we did was actually release the pre-alpha to just a few people. And straight away I kind of ran into a problem, which was that the pre-alpha wasn't able to be released on the Apple App Store. And so there was a couple bugs that they didn't approve of. And so I tried to fix that, but then even on the Android device, I got some feedback where people weren't able to log in, and there was like lots of problems that I hadn't ran into, and it was kind of difficult for me to even replicate those errors. And I'd already planned to take the entire month of April completely off and just do nothing because I'd just been so focused on building the startup and making these videos. And so I actually recorded the last startup video in March and then released it in April because I basically pre-recorded a lot of videos. And so I was kind of super tired at the beginning of April. April is when the Swedish sea trout fishing season starts. For the last year, I'd been planning to take the entire month of April and just spend it on the west coast of Sweden fishing for sea trout. No startup, no videos, no YouTube, just nature. And it was amazing. I didn't catch a ton of fish, but I got to spend so much time outdoors with nature. I learned to identify the most common birds on the island only by sound. I saw moose, foxes, squirrels, and white-tailed eagles. I got exactly what I wanted. And then while I was there, while I was just having that time off, I started thinking about things and like what I was doing and what I wanted to do if I had like stuff that not really a bucket list, but things that I wanted to get done. Because it's very easy for me as a YouTuber to kind of get stuck in just like making the next video and just being focused on, okay, I'm just going to make that video and then I'm going to make that video and that video and that video. And in that, I kind of sometimes lose track of free time. And even though I have a lot of free time, I kind of lose track of how I want to spend that free time. And I often end up just like sitting at home in front of the TV doing really nothing. And so while I was away, I started to sort of think about these things, like what are things that I actually want to do with my free time and how do I actually want to spend that? And I came up with this thing of like, well, ever since I was a child, I wanted to buy a sailboat and like sail around the Swedish like archipelago. And I've always had that as like, that's something that I want to do one day, but I've never really thought about whether I can do it right now. I've never thought that it was something that could be done right now. But then I was like in the sauna and I was just starting to think about like, well, there's really no reason why I couldn't do this year because a sailboat is fairly cheap, and so it wouldn't be like a huge financial commitment. And since I'm doing YouTube, I do have a lot of free time and I could be more intentional with how I record videos and how I spend my time, and that way I could actually free up a lot more time to spend just sailing around the Swedish archipelago in the summertime. And I actually just came back a couple of days ago from my first ever solo sailing trip, which was actually my second ever time like sailing a sailboat. And it was like 27 knots of wind, and I do not know how to sail. All right, so I was planning to do my first ever sail trip today, and then it said that it was going to be like 6 meters per second average wind and then like 13 maybe sometimes in the gusts, but I would say that it's probably like 13, 14 average wind right now, and that makes me a little bit scared. I was planning to do like my first ever solo sail somewhere, and now I'm like really scared. So right now I think I have like two options. I know I have to go out because I don't know, I feel like I'm not sure if this is like smart scared that I am right now, like it's good to be scared and be a little bit careful, or whether it's just stupid of me to even think about going out alone for my first time ever, like second time sailing ever. If that's just a stupid idea to do, or if I really should should just go. I don't know. So yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. It's so hard to know when I haven't sailed before. So it's like, either this could be like I go out and I just put up a little bit of sail and it's super easy and I'm like, why was I even worried about this? Or I go out and put up some sail and realize like, oh my god, everything's happening and I can't deal with it. I think I'm just like overthinking it a lot. And I could, worst case scenario, I could just motor back into the dock and like put my boat back. So I guess that's the worst thing that could happen. But the problem with that is that the wind is quite strong, so it's a little bit more difficult to dock the boat when it's like windy in this particular direction as well. And I'm also alone, have never actually docked the boat alone before, so there's also that. But I feel like I'm gonna have to go out, because if I don't go out then I will regret it. And if I go out and it's too hard, then I know that this kind of wind is too much and I shouldn't go out when it's this kind of wind. Oh, it's just that I'm like so nervous about it. Fuck. Okay, so I was actually gonna record myself just putting on the life jacket and then going out to start the engine. But I was actually so revved up and nervous that I couldn't really remember what I was gonna do. So this is actually me like almost having a mental breakdown. And if you are an actual sailor, then I'm guessing that I either look completely ridiculous for being this worried about going out on my own for the second sail of my life in 27 knots of wind, or I look like a complete idiot for thinking that it's a good idea to even consider going out in this kind of wind on my own. To this day, I have no idea which of these two fools I actually am, though a fool I am. Alright, so I did go out. I'm using the motor right now, but it is super windy and quite rough. And so the trip that I was going to take would be about, I think about 5-6 hours to actually take. And I'm not really sure that I want to do this for 5 to 6 hours. I can still just return back to the dock. But I do want to try to actually put out the jib, I think, to just see if I can sail in this kind of wind. It's kind of good to know what the max wind is that I can go out in. But I'm really happy that I went out. I was super scared, and I'm still like quite scared actually, which is why I'm thinking that I won't go the full 6-hour trip that I was gonna go on. But yeah, happy that I attempted it. I got the jib up, and we're actually doing like 4 knots. Okay, so I kind of thought I'd turn the camera off here, but the boat just started leaning over a lot, and not really a big problem, but I'm new to the boat, new to sailing, haven't done this before. Wasn't really sure how far it could lean over. The boat wasn't about to flip or anything, at least I don't think. But I was using the Samsung Tab S8 as my GPS, and it was just lying on the deck, and with the boat heeling over and with the waves, I was kind of worried that it might just bounce off the boat and into the ocean. So I decided to put the camera down and pull the jib back in. So as you know, if you've been following this channel for a while now, then you know that this is the sort of stuff that I love to do. I love to just try to learn new things and just see like how many different things, random stuff that I can learn. And I've applied this mindset to so many different things, whether it's to learn like exercise science or nutritional science, learning how to juggle, solve a Rubik's Cube, or even learning how to code. And that's why I think today's video sponsor Skillshare is such a perfect fit for my channel. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of different classes on everything from learning how to code to classes on becoming more productive, learning how to juggle, solving the Rubik's Cube, learning animation. And Skillshare is really great because in addition to giving you access to thousands of different classes taught by fellow creatives, it also gives you access to a learning community of people who are on the same learning journey as you. I've been a member of Skillshare before I even started this channel, and nowadays there are courses on here that are taught by some of my favorite creators, like Ali Abdal's Productivity Masterclass and other courses that he's created, and MKBHD's course called YouTube Success, where he teaches you how he makes his videos from start to finish, and both of which I've really enjoyed. It has been a really useful tool for me personally, and I highly recommend that you check it out. And the first 1,000 people to click the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. So go sign up for that. I mean, it's completely free, so why not just sign up for it? And so yeah, I'm really happy that I actually did that, and I'm super happy about the fact that I was able to dock the boat alone, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do that. I called my girlfriend, asked her to come to like receive me at the dock, but she took a long time, and I was like, I need to try this alone. So I did try it alone, and it was like 27 knots of wind or 14 meters per second, and in the wrong direction as well. So it was like, it would have blown me into the other boat that I was next to, and I was like completely stressing out, but I managed to do it alone. And so that trip was for me a really good like confidence booster in sailing and driving the boat and just handling the boat alone. And so ever since April, I've basically just spent time working on the boat and thinking about how I'm gonna actually be able to spend as much time as possible this summer on the boat. And so the reason that I stopped the startup vlogs was because I felt like I couldn't actually maintain a good rhythm in the videos, because each video was made during just a single week. I made the video and then posted it on Fridays. And that meant that I basically spent Monday, just a few hours on Monday, working on the actual app and like trying to make progress on it. And then I would film a little bit of that. And then on Tuesday, I would film other like extra footage for the video that I was going to make. So like B-roll stuff of me just programming, different angles, all that sort of stuff. And then on Wednesdays, I would try to actually edit that into some sort of story and some sort of video that would make sense. And usually that would take Wednesday and sometimes a bit of Thursday as well. And then I would post it on Friday. And so that means that the actual production of the videos took way longer than I had time to actually spend working on the startup. And so each time you watched a video, it was only like a couple hours of work, but you only got one video every week, which means that the work that I would have probably been able to do within like 5 days of just dedicated programming, that would have taken like 5 weeks of videos to actually show, which makes it really slow. The progress seems really slow. And that was something that I was kind of struggling with, how to record that and how to tell that story or like film that sort of stuff in a way that would make sense without it being just like me adding a button each week, because that's not very fun to watch, and I understand that. So that's kind of the problem with it. I feel like for that to actually work, I need to probably make like daily videos or semi-daily videos. And I know that might seem a little bit counterintuitive to feel like, well, I could only make one video per week. That was only like a couple hours of programming. But now I'm saying like daily videos might be better. That might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but I feel like when you're doing daily videos, if I do it in a certain way, then I can probably make them a little bit shorter and also show a little bit more progress, make a lot more progress in a shorter period of time. Plus, it would be a lot more interesting, I think, to follow it on a daily basis and just showing what I actually do and like how I actually make that progress. So that's something that I'm thinking that I'll do. But for now, since it's summertime, I don't want to start up like a daily vlog sort of thing, because that feels like it would be way too intense, and I want to try to have some sort of free time during the summertime. And so yeah, that's kind of what's been happening, what's been going on since I last spoke to you guys about the startup. But the problem that I have is the fact that I want to do too many things at once. I want to learn BJJ, I'm journaling every single day right now. I want to learn to sail, and I've been sailing as much as I can, as much as the wind allows. Right now it's like, I don't know, probably 40 knots of wind, 20 meters per second, something like that out, which isn't really great for sailing. I want to draw, I want to exercise, I want to do all kinds of different things. I want to program, work on this app and make these videos. And there's just not enough time for me to do all that. And so during the summertime, I'm just going to focus a little bit more on resting and recovering. And then hopefully in September, I'm going to start up with daily or semi-daily vlogs. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but I think that could be really interesting. I think the idea of following a startup from creation to like publication or release is a really interesting concept, at least for me. So let me know what you guys think, if you think that would be good, if you think a daily or semi-daily videos would be a good idea. That way we would make a lot more progress a lot faster, I think. If I can do it, I hope I can. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. This was a bit random, but I thought it was kind of important to show what I've been doing and why I haven't shared anything about the startup so far. But thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it if you got to the end. I know this was a lot more of a different video than what you're probably used to. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.